Right, the metal worker flywheel cage kit that you can buy. I paid 55 British sterling for it. I was obviously very excited once I ordered it because it's a full kit. I didn't have to worry about other flywheels fitting in another cage and etc. etc. So I thought for £55 for the kit, it gives you everything you need. You get the two 130 motors. Obviously, you get the aluminium flywheels, the aluminium cage, barrel, and an orange shroud, which is just out of shot here. It also gives you the cables to rerun it and a 5 amp micro switch. However, the 5 amp micro switch I feel isn't adequate for the job, so I didn't install that. I've installed a 15 amp micro switch, the ones that that most modders used to be fair, that nice clicky action there. The cable was probably 20 AWG, I'd like to say, not very thick, and again it wasn't stranded cable as such, so again that didn't get used 16 AWG. I think it's even Turnigy cable, may even be. Very good stuff, that cable. But anyway, this video is basically about these. I've not seen them reviewed on YouTube yet, and I tried because I saw the cage on eBay, really wanted it, purely for aesthetics more than anything, to be totally honest, even though you can't see you can't see it once the blast is shut, which is obviously stupid, but hey ho. So yeah, tried to look for a review on them. I couldn't find anything anywhere. So I just had to go in and buy them and just hope for the best, really. The actual item description on eBay as well was not very good at all. It told you what you basically had in it, but not much more thereafter. I mean, for example, I don't know if you can see, but you can see that they are actually canted. There was actually no mention of that in the item description. I kind of just worked that out from looking at the pictures that they were canted, but I'd looked at them on more than one occasion. It wasn't until the last time I looked at them I realised they were actually canted. So I thought, right, okay, so no one else has got them. The only thing you do is buy them and see what turns up, and hopefully it's all good. Obviously it turned up within good time, everything was fine. Coming to install it, again everything was going swimmingly. But once because I didn't want to use the motors that came with it, I put in Michelle 0.20s in, and obviously because it's a metal cage, you need to screw those motors into the cage itself. So way too hasty, way too excited. I didn't screw them down properly, because as soon as I screwed the motors in, tried to push the flywheels on, which may I add, it was an absolute nightmare. These are such a tight fit that it was nearly impossible to push them on by hand. I had to use a pair of pliers, and very awkward to basically get the flywheels on. It was so difficult. It was so tight. So set it all up, connected it up to a battery just to check that they were spinning correctly and I wasn't rubbing or getting any crazy vibration. And my worst nightmare happened. One of the screws holding the motors in came loose, got jammed up underneath this flywheel here. So it means I then had to take the stiffest flywheels in the world off. And as you can see, that's why they're all damaged and scuffed. And I've chipped loads of the paintwork off, and I've probably ruined the balance on this, to be totally fair. I was trying to just pull them off with a pair of pliers, because I can't flip this over because I've hot glued all the cables in, but when you flip it over, there are no holes to push through a pair of screwdrivers to push the flywheel off, like you would on, say, the stock cage. Get two slim screwdrivers, there's two holes, you can just push them through and the flywheel will just pop off. This doesn't. It's pretty much a solid piece underneath there. The only sort of place you can get any sort of pry is down here, but even there, the gap is not big enough to get in, get a screwdriver in and pry it open. It's once these are on, they're on pretty much. I did manage to get it off, but obviously you can see, look, I've massively damaged it, and then all of that damage there turned out to be in vain anyway, because what I had to do was this space right here is to get a screwdriver up underneath it and just push really hard, and then the flywheel did eventually pop off. But however, in doing so, I bent the shaft on the actual motor, so that motor was now dead. So luckily I had a spare one I could replace it with. But that's why these flywheels do look a bit battered. Overall, I'm very happy with them. I mean, aesthetically, they did look fantastic until I absolutely butchered them. You can hear, obviously, they are aluminium, and it does give a nice metallic clank when a dart passes through. So all in all, the only bit of that kit you're really interested in, to be totally honest, is mainly the barrel, the two flywheels, and the cage. I can't really comment too much on the motors that it came with because I haven't used them. I know they're 130s because they're a mirror image of the Michelle motors. The only difference is that the Michelles have got Michelle laser etched into the side of them. But apart from that, they look absolutely identical. I haven't even wired one up to see what they sound like, if that even makes sense, to hear what they sound like. So yeah, overall, I'm very happy with them, other than the fact I absolutely ruined them myself. But I would highly recommend them, and it's the first flywheel blaster I've ever used with canted flywheels. And any doubters that may feel that it doesn't really sort of add anything to the dart, I've put probably about 200 darts through it, and why there's not like an absolutely ground shaking change in terms of accuracy, for me the groupings were a lot tighter. Very, very good. However, whereas one negative to these I will say, these flywheels and this cage do not like aftermarket darts. It absolutely chomps the head off of them. With AccuStrike darts, it's absolutely fine. With the Accu fakes that you can purchase, they're absolutely fine. With normal elite darts, sort of stock Nerf elite darts, genuine ones, absolutely fine. But I think because these third-party ones have obviously, they don't have the same sort of quality control. The tips, to be fair, it's just the tips have come off where they've probably not just been glued on hard enough. But halfway through a battle, you're not going to start pulling out glue to re-glue your tips back on. So for me, they're dead. So if you do buy these this is running on the 2S, by the way. It's not even on a 3S. Well, obviously it's a 2S because it's running Michelle's. So yeah, I dread to think what that would do to, what these flywheels here would do to these darts. If it was a 3S, it'd probably just turn them into a foamy dust cloud. I did have a couple of jams at first. You can see the darts are slightly worn there. That's just my own fault, we're not aligning the barrel correctly. But apart from that, I think they're really good. I like the metallic clank you get once you pass a dart through it. I do like the canted wheels. They're also textured, so you haven't really got to build up a nice bit of dart scum before you start to see any real improvement on a brand new build, because these are pretty much good to go because they've got the grooves on it already. So overall, yeah, I'm happy with it. It was quite expensive, so that was 55 English pounds. There wasn't a whole lot of info on the actual purchase description, so it was literally a case of just buy it, hope it turned up okay, and hope I enjoyed it, which I do. So anyone who's thinking about getting these, highly recommended. You can also buy them with the same colour cage with orange flywheels, or you can buy a silver cage with silver flywheels, or a silver cage with red flywheels. Unless you're actually going to either sort of put like a door in there, or a clear piece of plastic so you can actually see your flywheels, which is what I ideally did want to do. But however, because I've now ruined them aesthetically, there's no point with doing that. So I've got sexy flywheels, but only I know they're in there. anyone thinking about buying them, by all means do. Like I said, I wouldn't suggest using the micro switch that comes with it or the cables that come with it, purely because if you're going to run a LiPo through it, I think they'll burn out pretty quickly. Okay, thanks for watching. Goodbye.